A lot of fun stuff we're doing here in Agent Tactics at Real Broker and in general. Michael, though, you're in the Chicago area, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So from your event, I deduced that you work with a lot of celebrities or celebrities in the Chicago area. You broke into luxury. You weren't really a luxury agent before. You broke into luxury. You're doing tons of amazing stuff. I want to hear about your success, what's happening. Start from the beginning. Michael, good to see you.
Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Been licensed since 2000, right? And I call it the evolution of a real estate agent, just like the evolution of man, right? So, evolution of a real estate agent. Look at that, Ian. Uh, I'm actually creating a graphic right now based on that. But people they break into to real estate. They work some rentals. They maybe work some buyers. Then maybe more entry level, right? And then maybe they work themselves up to average price properties in their market. And then maybe, small percent of them, because I believe there's 5 price points, a small percent of them go from the average bucket, the average price point to the third price point, which we define as high end. And that's 2 times the average sale price. Very rarely do people get into that fourth bucket, which we define as luxury. And in big markets like Austin, there's a fifth bucket, and Chicago and LA and Houston. And that fifth bucket, I was just in Scottsdale yesterday. The fifth bucket is what we call ultra luxury, which is 10 times the average sale price in that given market. So everything's all relative to the market you're in. And so, there's a lot of misconceptions about selling high-end homes. You got to be licensed X amount of years. And forgive me, I was got a sore throat or something. I don't know, but I spoke all day yesterday at my luxury designation training in Scottsdale. So I'll need to get a swig of water here.
So you
So
were recently in Houston going over your luxury designation. Ian was just there. Ian, what were
yes,
some of your big takeaways from that event?
Well, one thing that I really loved is obviously Michael started off with a great question, such as what, how would you define luxury? And you should have seen the number of blank stares in the room. Nobody wanted to answer up. And then every once in a while, you hear somebody say, 1 million. It's like, well, maybe in one market, but not in our market, right? So it
yeah.
was very, very interesting to see that even at the fundamental level, no one could answer such an important question, like what does luxury mean? So
So you have
that was the opening, which was fantastic.
so it's interesting. You have Sandy Payne on here, who's in a market that doesn't her market luxury. Sandy, what's your median price point right now, or just for your market, not your median price point?
Yeah, about 285.
285. So in a market like that, Michael, what would the designation really be for luxury?
Yeah. Can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
Um, so I'll show you this. Just maybe make me co-host real quick because it's not allowing me to.
Uh, you should be able to.
All right, there we go. So to use my definition, my terms, I like to use the term buckets, right? And so, uh, Sandy's average price point, you said, was 285 in her market. So that would be bucket two for those of you that are watching, but on the screen. And then, below that would be bucket one, okay, or entry level or starter price point. So using the terms and the mathematical equation that we created 8 years ago when we launched our designation, I would define a luxury home at 285 times three, or around called 850 to 900,000 for her given market, right? And and depending on what, she might not have bucket five, which would be 285 times 10, which would be, 2.85 million and above. Right now, a lot of markets have that. The bigger markets have the 10x, right? But not the smaller markets. And then a high-end home in your market, Sandy, I would call 285 times two, or call it around 550 to 600 would be a high-end home for your. So it's all relative, right? And so whether I was doing this training in Kokomo, Indiana, for Matt Fagioli at one of his Explode conferences a few years back, and the average sale price was 78,000 in at Kokomo, Indiana. So 78,000 times two would be high end would be 160. Luxury would be around 240. So it's all relative. In the Silicon Valley, $1 million is probably entry level, right? So it's all relative to the given market, Jeremy.
Awesome. Well, I know you have a full presentation that you have here. If you want to go through kind of your presentation, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah,
I
I'd
love
be
to do
happy
the
to.
I love to do the Q&A style. So as you're going through, everybody drop questions below and I'll make sure we get your questions asked in the chat. But I'll let you go through because I mean, I've sat through your talk before and I got a lot out of it. I usually do on these more of a Q&A style, but I really think your just overall talk is worthy of taking up and having not me speak. So
Well,
let's
no,
go for
I
it.
appreciate Jeremy. You know, a lot of, visuals are always important, and I like to model what you as an agent should do. And so, you know, I tell agents you should have three types of presentations when dealing with a buyer or a seller. You're going to have your left brain analytical buyer. I just got off the phone with one right now. He's selling a $1.3 million property, and DOJ. I was just at the T3 summit, right? So you had Housing Wire, T3 summit. Both were in Scottsdale on either side of Camelback Mountain. Literally, Sharon. I was hanging out with Sharon from Real, and all the leaders from the big brokerages were there, including NAR spoke on the DOJ. But at the end of the day, you got to bring more value to the table. And this is what today's training is about. But I'm also going to help you break down some barriers. So there's no magic pill, right? Everybody's looking for that quick fix, and there is none, right? But what I'm going to share with you it works in all markets, whether you're a newer agent or you're a seasoned veteran. I do want to point this out really quick, and you see Kofi Narti there, he's with Real, but we have 13 brokerages represented in our upcoming book, which launches the second week in May, Jeremy. And I just want to tell you about the book. The premise of the book is called Secret to Top Luxury Agents. And believe me, I don't make hardly anything on a book, but I think the book is going to be gold. It's 298 pages. And we asked all the co-authors, there's 23 rock star agents and 3 rising stars. And we asked each of them to tell us about your first luxury sale and how did the buyer or seller find out about you and vice versa. So everybody shares their first luxury sale because that's interesting. I moderated a panel yesterday with 6 local luxury agents in Scottsdale, and one got their first luxury sale from a floor call. Another was working somebody else's open house. So you're getting different perspectives on how to break into luxury, which is pretty amazing. And then we asked them 16 other questions. I said, hey, I gave them 16 common questions that come up all the time. I said, pick 6 that you can best speak to. And so those were questions 2 through 7. And then we asked them consumer beneficial questions. So really excited about the book. Comes out second week of May. Secret to Top Luxury Agents. All right. So we do these trainings all over the place. I believe, Jeremy, that people would rather do business, just like Daniel Kahneman, people would rather do business with someone they like and they trust rather than someone they don't, even if that likable person is offering a lower quality product and service at a higher price. So I tell agents, do both. Offer a higher quality product and service and do an amazing job, right? So do both is what we tell people. And so that is something that I would recommend. Be likable, but do an amazing job. I will tell you, Jeremy, I think the fastest way to get instant credibility from your database and your sphere and people that know you, like you, and trust you, and matter of fact, people that don't know you that well, like you that well, or trust you yet, is you land that first high-end and trophy property. Now, it's much easier to leverage a listing than it is a buyer, right? On the listing, you can leverage it pre-listing, during the listing, once it's under contract, once it closes. On the buy side, you need to get permission from the listing agent in those phases to use their photos and everything else. So again, if you work buyers, leverage those buyers. Okay, but list to live, especially with DOJ, but I've been teaching this for years. You want to focus on listings. Florida International did a study some years back. They focused on agents that work with listings, compared them to agents that were with buyers and sellers, and they also compared them to agents that only focused on buyers, and the agents that focused on listings made a whopping 81% more than the next category. So a sign in the yard is better than one in the car. So get more listings. Okay, again, I didn't come from real estate. My parents weren't in the business. Okay, I went on my first listing. You always remember your first. My first listing was a 1-bedroom condo here, and it was through a guy I called old man basketball with, right? He was a dad. I was a teacher. He was a dad of one of my students. Invited me to, I was single. Hey, we play basketball every Wednesday night. Boom. He knew I was new, so I'll throw you a bone. Well, I went from my first listing there to these properties represented on the screen, including the Empire Mansion. That's Architectural Digest, most beautiful home for sale in Illinois. The house on the right, I brought in $2.5 million worth of vehicles at the photo shoot. So I'm going to share with you guys how I did that. Now, if I were to unmute everybody that's watching this live or the replay, and I were to say garbage in, most people would say what, Jeremy? Garbage in, garbage
Out.
most would say garbage out. But Ian was at my training in Houston, so he knows better, right? So it's really garbage in. Unfortunately, it's garbage stays. So what are you feeding your brain? What are you listening to? Okay, are you listening to podcasts and shows like this? Or are you listening to doom and gloom negativity? The news is divisive. The news wants to divide you and me. The news wants to be negative. The roof's caving in. Okay, Lisa Hayes says it better than I can. She said, be careful how you talk to yourself because you are listening. So what do you focus on? I believe what you focus on expands. What you focus on expands. So if you focus on, man, you are fortunate. It's a Friday. It's a beautiful day. I got a lot of stuff going on. You're going to be great. I took a red eye overnight from Scottsdale to get here. You see my voice. I spoke all day yesterday. If I thought to myself, man, I got this show I got to do. I'm tired. I'm this. I wouldn't bring the energy for you and your audience, right? But I'm like, listen, man, it's a great day to be alive. Next week, I got to take a red eye back from Cabo, Mexico, into town. I'm not dreading it. It's going to be amazing. I'm lucky to be here. So what you focus on expands. If you're around with negative Nancy's and negative Nicks, you're going to be negative as well. Okay, the office is cold, the coffee's bad, this, that. You're going to be focusing on negative. Okay. Tony Robbins says success leaves clues. So again, surround yourself with other successful people. Zig Ziglar said, if you hang out with 9 dead broke people, you're bound to be the 10th. So hang out with 9 overachieving agents and you'll be the 10th. I already went over the 5 different price points. Now, Jeremy, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out the benefits of selling high-end homes, right? You can make more money, more profitable, a better ROI squared, by the way. Most people know ROI is what? Return on
Investment.
Investment. Yeah.
The second type of ROI is return on impression. We're basically in the dating app industry, right? You're going to get more likes and more comments and more interaction if you're doing a live stream at a mansion than you are in an entry level property. It's just I'm not saying one's right or wrong. What's on Instagram or TikTok? Good looking girls, good looking dudes, exotic cars, mansions, right? They're usually not rusty trucks, vans down by the river, and not the most attractive people. I mean, I'm just being general here, but that's just the world we're in, right? The world that we're in. Ian, you got a question?
Yeah. So do you think that your positivity and your energy impact your luxury sales or your impression to your clients?
Absolutely. Because it's part of your optimism breeds confidence. Your pessimistic breeds lack of confidence. Okay. And you got to step out of your comfort zone. All of us do. That the reality is there's some unknown in your market. Maybe it's a price point. Maybe it's a town you've never sold at. And so if you're not confident, you'll say, I have no business going over to that side of the tracks or that town or that zip code. But if you're confident, you're an optimistic person, it's like, man, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to figure it out and win. Okay, I was up against the #1 agent in Illinois against a $3.6 million home. I won't say her name. She's great. She's amazing. She's licensed in multiple states. I looked at it as a challenge. I'm like, let's get it. Let's go. Right? And that's optimism versus pessimistic. So now, Ian, you were at my conference in Houston, and you remember when I taught this OPP method. So I'm going to give some good nuggets on how agents could get their first luxury listing or their next luxury listing in the next 30 days. Is that okay, Jeremy?
Love it.
All right. So the first is going to be on a $0 budget. Now I give this ebook at the end. If people are interested, I'll share it with you. But the first you can do on a $0 budget, and that would be, and I'll have a slide that goes into this, but it's about networking, growing your network, and building open houses. You know, there's a couple things there's two things that pop up, and forgive me, it's Murphy's Law. Of course, the house next door is getting a tree cut down, so hopefully it's not too loud. I'll talk a lot louder than them. But
No, I can't even hear it.
all right, good. So at the end of the day, it's really about a high net worth individual that's thinking about hiring you to represent them on the buy-in or the sales side. The number one question they ask themselves, and by the way, I asked a billionaire this in my book, my next book called Secret to Top Luxury Agents. I had undercover billionaire Glenn Stern wrote the foreword to my book. He was featured in Discovery Channel's Undercover Billionaire. And he said the same thing. I said, Glenn, you own multiple properties in multiple states. What do you look for in an agent? He said, you know what the number one thing I look for? Can I trust them? So what can you do to build trust? I know a lot of you guys do great jobs with video on here. I've been looking at Ian's videos and Jeremy's, and people are judging you whether you like it or not on your videos. So are you likable? Can I identify with you? Are you a content expert? And based on those things, they're trying to determine themselves if they're going to hire you, right? And so let's get into misconceptions that many agents have before selling high-end homes. They say to themselves, I must be a top producing agent or have a lot of gray hair before I can sell. That's false. Number two, I have to be wealthy or live in one of those homes to sell them. False. Okay. I have to drive a certain type of car. False. I personally need to be with a certain office. False. Or I can't compete against the number one agent. Or worst one is there's already 38 or 380 or 3,080 luxury agents in my market. There's not room for 3,801. That's also false. Okay. So on the panel yesterday, I had a big panel. I had 6 agents from different brokerages on the panel yesterday, my Scottsdale event. Ian was at my Houston event. We had a panel. I a lot of times do speed questions at the end. Yesterday, I asked speed questions. I asked each of them, do you attend your closings? 5 said no, 1 said yes. I also said, what was the car that you drove at your first luxury sale? Now, 4 or 5 of them had nice cars, okay? But one of them had a Ford Explorer. Nothing wrong with Ford Explorers. I had a loaner because I got into an accident last year. And I told my wife she should get a Ford Explorer, the Sport Edition. They're nice. But this gal landed a trophy listing driving a Ford Explorer. So don't overthink it. You don't have to have a Maserati or a Porsche 911 to sell luxury. Now, Roger Bannister, we're coming up on 70 years. And 70 years ago, Roger was the first person to run the mile under 4 minutes. I don't know. Maybe one of you, Ian, you're good with Google. Why don't you Google how many people have ran the mile under 4 minutes ever? Okay. And let me know what that number is. But I got news for you. Zero had run it before March 5th of 1954. And within 2 years, 37 others ran it. And it wasn't because Nike came out with a comfortable shoe or Gatorade had a powerful, energy drink. And so 37 others ran it within 2 years. Nobody ran it before Roger. And Ian's already got the answer, I could tell, or he's close to it. And just chime in whenever you have it.
I put it in chat. It's 1,755.
1,755 have run it in the last 70 years and 0 before Roger. Okay. So if Roger did it, so can you. If I can sell luxury, so can you. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out the benefits. But one of my goals for agents that go through the Lux designation, and I have about 15 slides left in my presentation, so I'm going to give you the condensed version here. And Jeremy, how am I doing on time? I got about 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
We're good till 11.
Awesome. There's 3 ways that you guys can make more money over the next year as an agent. Number 1, sell more homes. Number 2, increase what you charge or be more profitable per transaction. I think number 3 is the lowest hanging fruit, and that's increase your average sale price. So I want agents to increase their average sale price by 30% that are luxury certified in our course. Well, what's a 30% increase look like? Well, for Sandy Payne, it's 285 to a 30% increase. Doing the math real quick, that's around 90,000. So that would be around 375. If you can go from 285 to 375, Sandy, that would be a 30% raise. Do you feel like that's attainable, 30%? Yeah, I'm not asking you to go from 285 to 1 million, although that would be nice. Okay. My goal is for agents to increase their average sale price by at least 30%. Now, in the next slide, I'm going to teach you a strategy on how you can do that. And Ian, why don't you cue up the song? You know the song I'm talking about. Remember from, you know I'm talking about, Ian, right? Yes, you know.
I'm thinking of Rocky.
What's that?
I said I was thinking of Rocky, but
Okay, all right. So, hey, Naughty by Nature. You
that's
down
right.
with,
OPP. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. Cue that up for me, Ian, okay? And
Oh, you're so funny.
and you start playing it, and I'll throw that slide on there whenever you got it playing on there.
It's not my Zoom. I can't do that. It'd be
All
too
right,
hard.
all right, all right. So,
Good thought, though.
not Naughty by Nature, a song from the 1990s. Says Naughty by Nature. It's down with OPP. Yeah, you know me. I'm going to teach you guys a strategy. It's called leveraging other people's properties or other people's products. And I'm going to go through that scenario right now. Jeremy and I are in the same office. I'm an aspiring agent that wants to increase my average sale price and sell more high-end luxuries. Jeremy is the man in my office. Ring, ring.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Jeremy, Mike from the office. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Good. Hey, I missed the other office gathering the other week, but it was good seeing you a few months back at the holiday party. Hey, Jeremy, I'm giving you a quick call. I thought I'd give you a call before I called Kay. She's got a cool listing too, but I want to give you a call because you got that amazing property over there and over in Austin city limits there on I think it's 6th Street there, and it's pretty cool. It looks like it's been on a little bit. And first off, I'm a win-win guy. I want to make this a win-win for you and me. And it looks like it's been on a little bit. So I'm not sure if the seller's on you about doing something different or more unique, but I thought I'd give you a call before I called Kay. I want to do an open house this weekend at a cool, unique property. That one caught my eye. Like I said, I want to make it a win-win. So we would pre-market it. We try to get as many people through there as possible. And so the other thing that I do, I should have started out with this, Jeremy, is if somebody comes through unrepresented and they buy that property, I'll give you a referral fee. But better yet, if they don't buy that property, but I build good rapport and they end up signing a buyer agency agreement and they end up paying me down the road because they buy something, I will give you a referral fee. So it's like the gift that keeps on giving, Clark. If this property even doesn't sell, you could get paid on it for months, sometimes years in advance. What do you say, Jeremy?
Yeah, what time do you want to do that open house?
Man, I'd love to do it between 1 and 3.
All right, let's go.
So
I'll call my
you see what
seller.
I did there? I started out with win-wins. I name dropped another listing in the area, Kay's. So Jeremy's like, man, I don't want Kay to get it. I want to get, and then I dropped in the referral fee. If I was, and not just on that one, but if a buyer comes through, now you don't have to do that. Maybe I'd offer it on the first time, but not the second time. But I'm trying to make it no-brainerish. So Jeremy gave me the green light on that. So that's number 2 here, number 2 on the screen. But right now, number 1 is just traditional broker opens during the week, going to other agents' broker open houses and call the agent ahead of time, see if they're okay with you posting on it, or maybe doing some photos or video at the broker open. And then boom, every week they see Sandy at cool properties in their market. And all of a sudden she's positioning herself because people judge you by the way you look and your dress and your branding. And so now all of a sudden they see Sandy, she represents some cool properties, some high end. And by the way, what are most people's phones? Are they on? And by the way, are most people's phones default to on volume or default on mute, like as you're scrolling? Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm at these conferences all the time, and if they're not on mute, that's that people look like, oh, what are they doing? They're not paying attention because they hear a video, right? So most
Yeah.
people's phone are on mute. So what I mean by that, if I'm on Facebook and I'm scrolling and there's a video, most people, even if there's a video, it comes up and you can't hear it. Okay, there's a video playing, it's on mute, right? And so give me 1 second here.
So while he's doing that, if you're in the Austin area and you're not part of the Austin Luxury Network, I think it's like $500 for the year to join the Austin Luxury Network.
600.
It's 600 now.
Yeah.
Inflation,
So-
A couple of years ago it was 400, but no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it was a year ago when I signed, or 2 years ago when I signed, it was 500. But they do a luxury tour. I think it's like every other week, and so everybody that has listings on there, I mean, you go through, and I've brought my camera guy through there. They don't care. They don't want you to bring. I tried to bring people from Real, and they didn't really like that. They didn't want that, but you can bring a guest with you. So bring your camera person with you and shoot properties. And now you can have a full line of content if you did that for $600 a year. So I
Yeah.
mean that's a good way to break into luxury in the Austin market. I don't know if you
Yeah,
have
every
that
market's different. I was just in Scottsdale and they have a formal home tour as well. And they let you know, like green light, red light. Green light means agent's okay with you shooting video. Red light, no video or anything, right? So uh, assume it's not okay unless you get permission. Okay, you don't want to just
Right.
go shooting videos, and especially with high-end properties, you got artwork, you got sculptures, you got things that are they don't want in photos, perhaps. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Um, so that's number one. And just give me 1 second here. Everything okay? I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, enter. Sorry about that. I'm selling a property. There's actually a company based in Austin called Concierge Auctions. They're on Brazos Street. I've been to their headquarters a couple times, and I'm selling a property via auction. And we had somebody out there, so I had to answer their question. So number one is broker opens. Number two is that Jeremy and I role play right there. And by the way, Jeremy, you're a great role player. Did you know I was going to do that?
No.
Okay, good. I like doing that. When I do my trainings, I role play with someone that doesn't know I'm going to do it because that's real life role playing, and you got to get comfortable as an agent role playing. I didn't show it earlier, but one of my famous sayings is, shy real estate agents, again, shy real estate agents have skinny kids. You can't be shy in this industry. You got to let people know what you do, hand out your business card. The more conversations, the more opportunities. The more at bats, baseball analogy. Okay, your Astros are terrible this year, but the more at bats, the more likely you get a hit. The more
I'm a
at bats,
Dodgers
the more
fan,
likely you
by
get
the
a
way.
double. I'm a Cubs guy. The more at bats, you're more likely to get a triple. Okay, so you need more at bats as an agent. Those are more conversations. Okay, get comfortable with conversations. And you recall during my Houston designation training, somebody raised their hand about prospecting and with this for sale by owners. She said that for sale by owners, they don't work. I said, well, tell me a little bit more about it. Do you remember how many for sale by owner appointments she tried in her career?
I think it was like one or two, something like that.
It
It
was
wasn't a
three.
lot.
She said she did
Yeah.
three and she gave up after three.
Yep.
I
And
said,
yeah.
if you literally, if you nail 3 out of your next 4, that's 3 out of 10. You're a Hall of Famer if you go 3 out of 10 in baseball. So don't give up after 3 canceled, 3 expired, 3 FISBOs, 3 open houses. The other thing about open houses, you might go 0 for 0. Nobody comes through. Well, if nobody comes through your open house, it's still not a waste of your time, because what I'm about to show you, if nobody comes through your open house, my mentality, Ian, is if you're on my team, I'd say, Ian, listen, man, be prepared for people to come through the house. In other words, have the listing sheets, the special features sheets, have a sign-in sheet. However, by the way, one of the sheets that I put up there that helps increase people showing up, and I don't have it here, owner requests that buyers sign in for security purposes. I put that on the front door. I did that for the first time at my $4.3 million listing last week. Again, I would never ask you guys to do something that I'm not doing. Here I am, national trainer, speaker, written bestseller books, about to have another one. I'm hosting open house. Now it's a 4.3. I might not do it at entry level, but still, we had 7 people come through last week. 2 were unrepresented. I had good dialogue with. Okay, one is going to be building a $9 to $10 million home. Still might. I referred him to my builder. But my point is, I put that owners require for security purpose. I got all their information. Now, did I get some fake numbers? Maybe, sure. But if I got 7 people signed in and 5 are fake, well, I got 2 more that I wouldn't have if I didn't require that, right? So I would tell Ian, even if nobody comes through, it's not a waste of your time, Ian. Plan out your week. follow up with past clients, touch people in your sphere. Okay. So if nobody comes through, you still got a productive 2 hours. You planned out your week ahead of time. If you have that mentality, it will never be a waste of your time. Number 3, even if nobody comes through, but you door knock neighbors and say, hey, my name's Ian. I'm hosting an open house down the street. I'm sharing that with you because you might know someone looking to buy in the neighborhood. Not a lot of homes on the market. Send them through Saturday between 1 and 3. And oh, by the way, we might get 10 people through. Or I did one down the street. We had 7. There might be 7 disappointed buyers that for whatever reason, they don't like that home. They don't like the floor plan. They don't like the finishes. Guess what? They like this area though. And so if you've ever thought about selling or you know somebody else, here's my card. Reach out to me because I might have a buyer after this weekend for your home. Number 3, that's number 3. Number 4, you could generate buyers from those listings. I just gave you the example. Buyers come through the open house. They don't like it, but they like you. Number 4, you could get listings from the other agent's listing. Hey, you know, we got to sell before we buy. Would you want to come tell me what my house is worth? Number 6, of course, you're going to get referrals. You do a good job. And number 7, content for your social media. What is the lifelong value of a client of yours if you do a good job? All right, a couple other nuggets I want to share with you. This is a pretty important slide as well. 6 nuggets of luxury real estate. Number 1 is past clients. Well, if you don't have past clients in luxury, don't worry about it. Skip to number 2 is neighbors of your listings. If you don't have any listings, then skip to number 3, buyers of your listings. Have you sold homes in the past where you represented the seller and you didn't have a relationship with the buyer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Last time I looked, I know the answer to this, but I want to see if you know the answer to this, Ann. Let's say, Ann, you sold 123 Austin Way. You represented the seller. Jeremy represented the buyer. You don't know Jeremy, he was just a buyer's agent. Is there an ironclad cage that goes around Jeremy's buyer post-transaction that you can never talk to them? They are Jeremy's clients for life. You don't know Jeremy. He's not from your office. Are they Jeremy's clients for life?
No, there's no crossing the sign concern after closing.
No. So my point is, I've had numerous transactions the last few years because I send buyers that bought my listings mailers. Basically, hey, not sure if you're curious of what your home's worth or you know people selling in your neighborhood, but oh, by the way, I know what your home's worth. I sold it. Nobody knows that home better than I do. And I get calls all the time from these type of mailers. Okay. I haven't talked to these people maybe ever. They don't even know my name. But my mailer says it's truth. It's like, I sold your home previously. I might not even be them. Might be the buyer before them. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, of course, is your farm. Number 6, excuse me, that's number 4. Number 5 is your sphere of influence. And number 6 is very powerful. And I call it my I have a buyer campaign. I just sent out a mailer 3 weeks ago to 33 homes because I did have a buyer looking in these 2 streets. Or my title company sent a mailer. I got 3 out of 33. That's 1 out of 11. It's about 9%. That's pretty darn good. So I got 3 responses. One is probably a $4.5 million home. They think it's 5.5, but I'll work it. I'll cheerfully work a $4.5 million seller. The other is a vacant property. It's not vacant. There's a tear down on it, a beat up house that should be torn down. The values in the land. And the other was an agent that called me, said, yeah, you sent a mailer to my client. I'm going to be putting their home on the market. And I think she tried to sell it herself because she told me like literally the day before. But guess what? We showed it while I was out of town in Scottsdale yesterday. My buyer's agent did. We put a full price offer in, 2.9 million from this mailer. So you don't want to think like a real estate agent. You want to think like a marketer. There's a calculated difference. Don't think like a real estate agent. Think like a marketer. Now, I told you earlier, you got to get out of your comfort zone. Most of you are comfortable here, And where the magic happens is here. Video is a key part of that. So I'm going to go through a couple last slides here and open it up for anybody. I get asked all the time, Mike, your designation, can I take it virtually or in person? I say either one. We have a hybrid model as well, but in person or virtual. It's 16 modules. I told you earlier, I'm going to give everybody a free ebook. Here it is, 7 Secrets to Break into Luxury on a $0 budget. Just go to luxurylistingblueprint.com or scan the QR code. Luxurylistingblueprint.com or scan the QR code. Now, I'm going to open it up for questions here in a minute, but the last thing I want to share with you guys is we do our designation trainings across the country. If you want to host a designation training or you're wondering if I'm coming to your city, just reach out. Just reach out. Here's my contact information. It's on the screen. It's on the screen right here. And we did just launch luxury group coaching. It's real simple. It's 2 calls a month with me. It's $297 a month. And I do want to share this with you. This is my friend Vince.
Curie here in Tampa just attended the Michael LaFido seminar. He is definitely the man. I mean, you have instant things that you could take back, plug into your business to break into the luxury market. He's been a mentor of mine for 12 or 13 years, and I credit most of my luxury sales and celebrity sales over the years to Mike's teaching and coaching. So from this former janitor, I can assure you that it works.
So that's Vince Curry. Again, my name is Michael LaFido, and I just want to open it up for question and answers. There's no stupid question, Jeremy. Literally, people can ask me whatever they want. You can ask me any follow-up questions. And sat through my training, and it was 9 to 4 o'clock, full day jam-packed. We toured. What was your big takeaway, your big aha or two from that training in Houston?
Well, obviously that was one of them, was the fact that nobody actually knew what luxury was. Everybody had their misconceptions is what I would say. But then the other one was the fact that all types of agents came in, all from all over. I don't know much about the agents and their history. I just know you look around the room and everybody was there. It was a very diverse crowd of people that were there to learn from you. It was very cool. It was very good.
Yeah, diversity. We help agents from small boutiques to NAREP, ARIA, NAREB, the Alliance. It doesn't matter.
And your panel of speakers, wasn't that? I mean, they had to do like $1 billion a year combined.
Oh, there were some rock stars on that.
They were really big agents. I was like, whoa, they're doing what? It was impressive. They were impressive numbers.
Yeah, thanks. So that's one of the things we try to bring in local rock stars, because many times people are like, oh, I want to see Jeremy speak, or man, Sandy's amazing, I want to see her. So that's what we do as well.
Sandy says, I call it adopted buyer campaign. I think she said that earlier. So
yeah, orphan
so
buyers, adopt a buyer. Yep.
So if agents are trying to really work their social media game, right, and they're trying to attract more luxury buyers, are you suggesting, what do you suggest from a social media standpoint? What would be the best way to attract more of that high-end buyer? So let's say the Austin market, our median price is $550, but I want to go to, $1.5 million. What would be my first step?
OPP, other people's properties. I covered it. I would be hosting open houses and attending broker open houses left and right. That's be number one. Number two is I would join a chamber of commerce that services that price point clientele I want to be in, and I would bring value to those business owners. The best way to get a referral is give a referral. And so if I'm likable and I'm trustworthy and I'm top of mind awareness, when they know of somebody thinking about buying or selling, that's on you to be top of mind awareness. If it's not, if you're not, shame on you.
What do you say to the agent that doesn't want to do the open house? Because we have a lot of open houses available in the Austin market.
Don't complain. Don't complain.
Yeah.
Hey, I really want to be good. I'd love to be drafted in the NFL, but I don't want to work out. Well, you're not that hungry. I hate to be that direct because that's not my style, but I'm literally, I was showing today, I practice what I preach. I got a showing at my $4.5 million listing. This guy's telling me he's hungry. He wants to get it sold. Why isn't it selling? We're getting 1 or 2 showings a year. I bring my stager in. She's amazing. You got to paint. You got to do this. You got to do that. You know what he tells me? I'll die in this house before I paint. Now he owns a place in Florida, one in Carolina, but once his home sells, he also told me he wants to buy a place in England. He's got what I call FU money, more money than you and I will have. Sold his business, very successful. But I'm not grasping it, Mr. Seller. You're telling me this is holding you back from, I'm not getting any younger. I'm in my 40s. He's in his 70s. So I always start with you, right? Don't say you're not getting any younger because then he'd be offended. But I know I'm not getting any younger, Mr. Seller. I know you're not either. You're telling me you want to sell this and go to Europe and have a place there, but this is your anchor. This is holding you back. You've been trying to sell for 3 or 4 years, and I have the blueprint. I know what's going to help get your home, get more eyeball traffic, get more qualified showings. So again, what would I say if somebody says they don't want to do open houses? You're not that hungry. Do I love sitting in an open house on a Saturday when I could be playing baseball or something with my kids? No, but I also want to sell that $4 million home and get 6 figures.
Yeah, on a $4 million home, depending on what you're talking about, yeah, you're looking at a 6-figure paycheck pretty much.
Yeah.
Sandy, what questions do you have? Kay, if you're still there. Carolyn, if you're not hiding driving. Oh, Sandy's on the phone now. Called her out on the phone. All right. What about, you said earlier about mailer campaigns, and you talked about, I have a buyer. What other email or mail campaigns would you do for a targeted neighborhood that you're trying to target?
Obviously, just listeds are big, just solds are big. I mean, I do a lot of different mailers. I like tracking stuff. I like tracking stuff with trackable QR codes that are custom to the property. So if you scan it, Jeremy, your cell phone comes up and I can track which one you scanned in so I could follow up with them. So that's stuff that I'm pretty consistent with.
How is your return on interest for the QR, specifically the QR portion of the cards?
I mean, we get a good return on it. I mean, we get a lot of scans and, again, in the price points that I'm dealing with, I always, let me start out and say, I always look at an investment as to what's my worst case scenario here. Okay. So I have a billboard down the street. It cost me $1,500 a month on that. Okay. $1,500 a month times 12, that's 18 grand. That's about an $800,000 home or 2 $400,000 homes. Do I think I can sell one $800,000 home a year or 2 $400,000 homes, or, a $1.6 million home in 2 years from that billboard? That's my worst case scenario break even. Now, I told you earlier, I got a $1.3 million listing coming on. He's going to be a buyer. He's a financial advisor. He's really well connected. He's already referred me to a $400,000 person. He's flat out told me that I see you everywhere. And then it comes out and says, I see your billboard every day pulling out of this neighborhood. So it's been over a year, and I can't directly tell you I've sold any homes, but I can tell you it's top of mind of repetitive engagement. People see you all over the place. So,
Ian, I'm going to put a billboard outside your house.
Thank you. Yeah, do it at my sister's house in Chicago.
Carolyn, what was your question?
Okay. So I have a girlfriend who has a listing over in Bee Caves. And it's kind of not selling. It's a little bit overpriced. And I told her I wanted to go door knock that neighborhood, but she said people in the higher price points, they don't door knock. And I thought that was a little false, because if you want your house sold, you obviously have to do the steps to get your house sold. So what?
Are you representing your girlfriend?
No. She's the listing agent. So I was
Oh.
gonna go or knock and be like, hey, there's a new listing in your neighborhood
Yeah.
that you know about. So I was wanting to kind of help market her property that way, but she said people in the higher price points, they don't really
So I would say I would disagree with that. What I would tell you is people that higher end clientele, they are more private, security is more important. But in today's day and age, entry level, average priced homes have Ring doorbells and who knows anyway. So, obviously if it's her listing, you need to get her permission because people are gonna be like, hey, somebody on your team door knocked, right? But uh, I would say I'm a big believer in not leaving any stone unturned. In other words, signs don't work with big homes. Well, I'll say, well, it would increase your probability that people know your home's on the market. So if NAR says buyers find out the home's for sale because of sign, then if you want to increase your probability of a pool of buyers, then have a sign, then door knock, then do an open house. And then we could sleep at night knowing we did everything possible. And so if your friend would allow you to do an open house, even if she says, well, open houses don't work, then she's got all the answers. That'd be a terrible answer for her. But I would do an open house. I'd say, hey, listen, I'd be willing to work an open house for you there. And then I already showed you the benefits of working another open house on somebody else's property. But in this case, you do need her permission, but I think she's wrong.
That
Okay.
funny. It's funny because you said you like if she has all the answers, then obviously the house would be sold, right? She doesn't have all
Yeah.
the answers.
Well, one thing
So
too
blame it
is,
on me, by the way. Blame it
yeah,
on me. Just say, hey, listen, I was just on a Zoom. This guy's written a lot of books. He's the founder of the Lux designation. And he says, yeah, there's definitely security concerns and privacy in gated communities and everything else, but uh, but it benefits them. It benefits them. So if they're turning negative, if they come back at you, Carolyn, is that right? Carolyn, like if you unmute yourself and you're that annoying seller and I just ring on your door or knock on it, knock, knock.
Hello.
Hey, Carolyn, my name is Mike. I'm helping market the home down the street and we're hosting an open house. So I just wanted to let you know about it. Uh, if you know of anybody that's thinking about buying in this neighborhood, it benefits you because the last thing you want is a home sitting on the market forever and then they lower the price. So I'm just letting you know we're hosting an open house down the street. Here's a flyer. Feel free to share it with anyone. But just wanted to let you know that we're hosting an open house. Didn't mean to startle you.
Okay, great. I
All
could
right,
do
thank
something.
you. All right, awesome. Boom. So again, we didn't have much interaction there, but my point being is I kind of addressed the elephant in the room, like how it benefits you, right? Because it will benefit everybody. The last thing everybody in the neighborhood wants is a stale listing that's not selling. Make
right.
sense?
Right.
And the other thing is, if especially about houses overpriced, right? Wouldn't you, I would say, hey, all the values going up help you if you were to help, sell your home in the future. So wouldn't you want your neighbor to get the best price for their home? 25% of buyers buy in a neighborhood where they know somebody. So who
Yeah.
do you know that wants to be your neighbor? Who
Yeah.
can we bring in that you like?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to be able to pick your next friend, your next neighbor?
Yeah.
Those are scripts I've used, and those, tend to go over a little bit more better when you're door knocking as well,
Yeah.
or circle prospecting. We've circle dialed several times on that.
Yeah. No, that's great. Well, good. Well, hey, I got to get running here, guys. Jeremy, I really appreciate your time. You guys, what I'm going to leave you with is to kind of conclude is what you focus on expands. If you hang out with overproducing agents like Jeremy and Ian and people that go to these conferences and bring back best practices, it's going to rub off on you in a good way. But same thing, if you hang out with negative Nicks and negative Nancys, they're going to rub off on you. So again, it doesn't happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. There's no easy button. People are looking for the easy button. But I will tell you that success leaves clues. So what are you listening to? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Get yourself out there. Get out of your comfort zone. You can't tell me you're hungry. You want to be a six-figure earner. You want to be a mega icon agent or whatever. Do your actions line up with your goals? Okay. You want to lose weight. Well, are you going to the gym? Are you watching your calories? You know, whatever it is. Okay. So you got to be consistent there. Um, and, uh, and so what I'll do, Jeremy, is anybody that I'm going to put anybody that shoots me an email, and you can share my info to them, Jeremy, again, and they leave me a review. If you got a nugget from there and they liked what I shared today and they leave me a Google review, then as a thank you, I will send them a copy of our digital objection handling playing cards. We sell these for $27. I'll send them the digital version of them for absolutely free. Now, Ian, you got a copy of those. You
I
got the
do. I have them in one of my backpacks. I took them with me to my Big Bend trip earlier in the week. Yes.
Did you thumb through them?
I mean, I looked through them. It's very fun. It's fun.
All right, good. Well, I'll send those to you guys. This is a thank you for if you got value. Only if I'm not asking you to give me a 5-star to get something, but if I brought value, I donated my time with a raspy voice, and you got something out of it, then that's a way you can thank me.
Awesome. Well, Michael, thank you so much. We appreciate the time.
All right, thanks, guys. Go
Thank
prove
you.
others wrong, like my sign behind me says, prove them wrong.
I love
On
it.
it.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye. Well, it was fun. Who do we got left in here? We got Beth, Otterbox, Martha. It looks like we got a lot of real agents in here.
Yeah.
So we got some real agents. Who's using the marketing tools or leveraging Lofty? I find that a lot of people aren't leveraging Lofty or using these tools. I have Sandy Payne. So Carolyn, you're on here now. I don't think you're on here earlier. Kay, you're on here now. Sandy, who just joined Real out of Temple, I believe Temple.
Clean, bro.
Like clean, yeah, clean, Harker Heights.
Clean. She's going to be coming in Austin May 30th. I haven't announced it yet. I will put out the Eventbrite for that soon. So she's going to come talk about how she's leveraging and getting more listings. So we'll have that. But and I'll let you speak a little bit about what you're going to talk about. One thing I want to ask though, would it be beneficial, because I have a lot of people asking me about Lofty and the marketplace and stuff like that. Would it be beneficial to put on a Lofty training class?
Yes. I'm lost. I'm clueless. I haven't had a CRM like that for years. So I'm
Okay.
moved over my 8,000, contacts, and
Okay.
they put them all as buyers. So now I have to go through and resort and working on that
them
one
all.
at a time. And yeah, just
Okay.
I would definitely love that.
Okay. Let me give you a quick resource then. So if there's questions you have before we can put a class together, let me give you a quick resource on that. I'm going to share. Which screen am I going to share? This one. Let me get into it. Sorry. So if you're not leveraging Workplace or Real Academy, let me show you this real quick. Come on, let me get in there. I don't want to show you my dashboard. I got too much going on in there. So give me 1 second. Real Academy. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now let's share. Why is it not going to?
If it's in Real Academy, I can find it. But yeah, I mean, I've looked on, my assistant's helping me too. I'm like, we need to get it figured out at this point.
Yeah, I don't know why it's going my full desktop. Well, we'll just go full desktop. Okay. There we go. That works.
Yeah.
Okay. So in Real Academy, I actually have a high note for this, and I will drop it in a second. But in here, there is a whole training on Lofty. I don't know if there's a search queue. Let's see. So, and I know that most people don't really know that this is in here, but this Lofty training at the
okay.
bottom of it should have all the past Lofty classes. So I know he's got a few in there. I've been doing some stuff on Lofty that's been working really well. So as far as oh, here you go, database management. There's a whole class on database management in there. What we're doing with Lofty is, oh, that's some of my people. I mean, see how many leads I have coming through? Hold on, let me pull this aside. These are the leads that we have coming through Lofty.
Yeah.
and this Brian Cumby guy is actually a developer. But these are all leads that we get that come through, and a lot of it's because of a couple of things. So on the website, we're leveraging from here and putting on blogs, and then we're taking them to Google Business Profiles. The other thing that we're doing on here is on the marketing. So you can run ads on here now. I'm not running ads yet. Down here at the bottom left, Social Studio, you can connect all of your socials to here and send out all of your listings and all your stuff through here to Google Business and all of that. But the landing pages we're building out, the landing pages we're building out. So this is one we just recreated. But the landing pages, I'm embedding our videos. There we go. See, I need to remove that block. I had my assistant do this, and she messed that up. But all the listing videos are embedded in here, and then we share off and then you can run ads from the landing page, and this will drive traffic back. You can then take this landing page and put it on Google Business Profiles. So we're leveraging those couple things, and it's driving a lot of leads into, I mean, look at this one right here. This one right here, Pear Tree, 404 views on that landing page, foot traffic 292, direct leads 1. And that's
with mine,
0.
I played around on that when I hit Social Studio. Let me log in. When I hit Social Studio, like everything I click on, it wants me to paste out something. It's really weird. Because I messed around with it for like 3 hours at an open house, and it was like I just feel like I couldn't go I couldn't hardly do anything.
Well, I watched the Social Studios thing so I would go, when you go to open house, I would jump in on the Lofty training and go through this.
That's what I was doing. Yeah.
Because I was running in. Now he has the guy that runs this, I believe he has an open class on Fridays. There's a class replay. I'm pretty sure he has an open class where you can ask questions on the calendar. So I would go in there too and ask that, but I'll try to put together a class in Austin where we can actually have somebody who does this at a much better level than me.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, perfect.